aming nai-report kahapon, sinuspinde ng 8 taon ng FIFA ang presidente at vice-presidente nito na sina Sepp Blatter at Michel Platini dahil sa isang malaking corruption scandal. Sino kaya ang papalit sa dalawang top officials ng FIFA at ano ang mangyayari sa governing body ng football? Paano na sila mag-move on? Para sa usapan na yan, kasama natin si Darren Hartmann. Darren, welcome back to the score. Thanks for joining. It's good to see you back in the Philippines.
It's great to be back.
All right. First of all, let's backtrack to how the football family knows FIFA, how they know of Sepp Blatter. Way before the corruption scandals came out to the open with the police involved and everything, as football players and as football lovers, what did you know about FIFA and Sepp Blatter back then?
FIFA is the governing body of football. And then under that is organizations such as the AFC, UEFA, and AFC is very familiar to people who follow football here, because that's the governing body that the PFA is under. The PFF, the Philippine Football Association, that is under. So we all support our governing bodies, our governing organizations. And up until then, a lot of people had favored Sepp Blatter because he managed to bring football to non-footballing giants such as Korea, the World Cup in Africa, and then also even in America. And now there's a big boom in America, and it's just a shame now that football's been a bit shadowed by all of these corruption allegations.
So in a sense of Sepp Blatter, the management of FIFA getting the job done, would you say they more than pass people's basic standards of getting the job done, of bringing the sport of football to greater heights all over the world?
I would say that football has progressed hugely under and this is one of the problems, under 17 years of Sepp Blatter being in charge. And what people are saying, there's too much familiarity already. But there are definitely more people playing football. If not, it wouldn't have infiltrated down to the local football in the Philippines, where we have so many people playing now.
Well, unfortunately, given the fact that, aside from the fact that he's done a great job in spreading the love for football in different parts of the world, here come the corruption charges. And as well, technically speaking, he hasn't been found guilty of anything yet in terms of any of the cases, but the FIFA themselves, they've suspended them on ethical issues. And you were saying earlier that that's quite broad, right? That's kind of safe to just suspend them for 8 years based on ethics.
Yeah, the whole reason there is an ethics committee is it has to be separate. Those sort of decisions can't be made internally. It's an external, it's an investigation, and ethics covers so many things, from obviously corruption, which is one of the main issues that people are talking about, but it could also be in terms of decisions, whether or not seats are given, World Cup tickets, everything like that. And they just wanted to just put a very broad title to it and say, okay, enough is enough. There's re-elections coming up in February. Let's concentrate on that now.
Well, speaking of re-elections, there are some names that are coming out and about. One of them is Sheikh Salman, and you mentioned another guy, another Arab
it's
football
Ali bin
name.
Al Hussein. And then also, even people such as Luis Figo have, but then he said that if some of the big names run, he wouldn't be willing to do it. And the major issue is obviously Michel Platini, who was probably the favourite to take over after heading UEFA, which is the governing body in charge of the European football for so long.
But now he's also out of the running.
He's out of the running, it's very, very open.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, these names might not be familiar to us Filipinos, to the Filipino football community, but what would the next leader have to do, and what kind of changes would they have to implement to make things run smoother? And as you said, probably transparency would need to be an issue that they need to tackle.
Yeah, a lot of people who have suggested that they would run, they would be pushing for transparency, because football in the Philippines is not quite as established as other places in the world, but it is a business. It's like, for example, if you play in the lower leagues in England and you get a caution, you actually have to pay a fine, and that fine multiplied by how many teams and how many, it's a large amount of money. So people are asking for transparency, and also there are a lot of people that are trying to push grassroots again and keep on pushing the education of the coaching.
And when you talk about that, we've heard this before, FIFA sponsoring or helping out the Philippine Football Federation by giving a certain amount of money for a field, for programs, and they do that, right, all over the world. So that will matter too. When money is managed better properly and funding comes in through sponsors and income, how do you see the potential of better run FIFA helping the Philippines?
Well, obviously the Philippines they apply through the AFC. There are already big projects in place in the Philippines which are not yet finished.
Yep.
They started probably last year. There are new artificial pitches being built. There's some in the south as well,
Yep.
you know, from areas that are affected by Yolanda. And I think there would just be more money available for projects like this to make football more accessible.
From you guys, your friends, the footballing community, how have they felt? I mean, has this dampened the spirits of the football community, or on the flip side, has it made them have an opportunity to see a new light that there's change coming about for FIFA and the rest of the world football?
Well, if I was speaking about, you know, my batch of players in the Philippines, I think we're all starting to look. Well, I've already seen, okay, my playing careers are coming to an end. You know, I still play because I enjoy it. And I'm sure that in a few years, the big names, the big household names from the Azkals that people are used to hearing will take more senior roles in football. Coaching, and then the next step after coaching is to go on and have important roles in the PFF and, you know, in the local football association. So it's something that we can all learn from.
Do you see that the problems we've had in the past with the PFF and the problems you see in FIFA now have sort of at least taught us what not to do and how things can be run better in the future, and how the path for football's growth in the Philippines is kind of being charted
and I think,
properly now?
Yeah, I think what we also need to remember is, although there's a lot of cloud over FIFA, the decisions, for example, to help start a national league was made 2 years ago.
Right. And
that
FIFA is
is
supposed to be involved with that, right?
Yeah, FIFA have actually placed several key members of staff.
Correct.
You know, maybe not permanently, but coming in, doing all the surveys and doing all the background work to actually get a league like that up and running.
Right.
And if that was done amongst all of the allegations, just imagine what a FIFA or, you know, whatever governing body there is with a clear mind, you know, and open vision would be able to do for especially for the youth of this country.
It's no joke. FIFA, they like the Philippines. I mean, we've hit the headlines of their main website several times before, just for, you know, the little, you know, steps forward that we've been taking. What does that say about FIFA and how they care about the small nations like the Philippines? We might not be giving them so much income in terms of what the other big countries do for them, but what does that say about the organization and the potential of them helping the Philippines?
At the moment, football is a relatively small market for FIFA, but the population here is so big. And there are a lot of children, and if the model was based on something similar to, for example, Brazil or countries like Uruguay or, you know, the Latin American countries, we're very similar. We could produce, you know, top quality football players, such as the household names of, you know, Ronaldinho and Neymar. They could be out there right now in the Philippines.
And you're talking about, these were countries back then that were also developing countries in terms of the same level of our economy. So it's not that we can say, oh, they're an advanced country, they can do it. So you're saying that where we are now, the possibilities are big, and the fact that we have a big population, it's there.
Yeah, because the dream is there. And I think it's just going to be a matter of time and exposure when the kids see, wow, it's actually a future. And as soon as that's here, I'm sure that's what FIFA's after. They're just planting the seed, and hopefully things will keep growing and developing. So FIFA do look after countries such as the Philippines.
You've seen it, Darren. What have you seen in the last, let's say, 10 years? You've been involved with Philippine football. In the last 5 years or so, that the Azkals have really, kicked it up a notch or two. How is the potential of Filipinos, young Filipino kids, and I know you're involved as well with coaching young kids as well. What's the potential like for us?
The potential at the moment is very, very big. I would say when the Azkals boomed, the children who are about 10, 11 years old, who are now about 14, 15, are exceptionally talented.
Great.
And I think that any age group under that just has more potential because they start at a younger age and an earlier age. And if you give it 2 or 3 more years, you'll start to see the success of the football schools that were started by, you know, people like myself or, you know, Phil and James or anyone else who's involved in coaching at grassroots level. Anton Anto Gonzalez is
Right, as well.
he's already producing because he started before.
Correct.
So I think it's just a case of wait and see. There are some very special players out there.
Well, we all hope for the best that FIFA resolves the issues sooner than later, because as you said, it trickles down to all of us. It trickles down to the grassroots, all the way to the Philippines, and their support is crucial to our growth as a footballing nation as well. Darren Hartmann, always a pleasure to speak with you. We wanted to talk about Miss Universe, but we'll do that off cam. Darren Hartmann, we'll see you again next time. Thank you so much.